Okay, so this is the next in our video series of the deep relaxation meditations, and we're going to focus on one that is particularly useful for beginners, and also if your mind is just really going one day. I personally find this one very useful. An example of when this is super useful for me has been when I wake up and I can't fall back asleep and because my mind got going. This one's the best for that moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on feeling our hands. Now, a quick note, I've never done a video series before, and I'm not skilled at organizing my thoughts yet, so I'll probably come around on thoughts periodically that I failed to get through in a previous video. And among those, I want to bring forward one thought from the last video, where I was talking about how when we relax, our arteries relax because of the smooth muscle around them. It relaxes, more blood can travel through. Keeps our hands warm and feet warm, I mentioned in the last video, but it's also worth mentioning that blood is your very life on the cellular level. It brings the oxygen, it brings the nutrients, and it carries them away. So blood is life, and the more blood you have going into, anything, tissue, within reason, of course, the more healing you can get. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the ischemia, hyperemia that comes from stretching. But for now, we're just talking about deep relaxation as a way of opening up those arteries so that we can just relax, move freely, have plenty of life in our limbs and throughout our body. So again, this one is just feeling our hands. And the reason we go to our hands is because there's tons of nerve endings there. And so it's a really easy one to start for most people. It's really easy to feel even when your mind is really upset from all sorts of randomness that gets going in our days. So I'm actually going to recommend that you lay down and get yourself cozy for these deep relaxation videos. However, there's a graduation that you do want to attend to. You start with laying down. All your skeletal muscle can completely relax. You're going to discover it's not, that it's doing all sorts of little things in there that you weren't even aware of. And so the process of observing those things will actually cause them to calm down over time. But in the beginning, especially, we're just observing. And then as you move forward, so the next step will be to sit up. And you'll either do seiza or on your knees or, in a chair. Something where you can just completely relax your lower body still, but you start working with that torso. How can I be as deeply relaxed as possible while my torso is firing a bit? And then and then we gradually to standing, and then we graduate to movements. And I probably will come around and do a movement video a little bit before we go through all these deep relaxation ones, because some people's minds have a tough time going straight into stillness meditation. Their own particular traumas and or ways they were taught to use their mind as they were growing up are super active, and learning how to just go into a deep relaxation meditation can be rough. So we will do movement ones relatively soon as well. So this one is just going to be feel your hands. So if you start now, nice and relaxed, I'm just going to process what I'm feeling. You just feel your hands. And let my voice be really nothing more than a reminder to come back to the topic at hand, which is feeling your hands. However, I will process aloud, and you do want to hear these thoughts at some point. So, the first thing I become aware of is a tingling all over my skin. Like lots of little tiny needles that are not sharp, but like little tiny dull needles are being rapidly touching and letting go of my skin. And I just felt my first release in my thumb muscles. And again more. And those releases, they travel up through my nervous system. They actually come from the central nervous system. So be expansive somewhat in your meditation. but stay there with your mind in your hands no matter what. I can feel the pulse in my fingers. I can feel the pulse in my arteries. The smooth muscle of our arteries actually pulses in sequence with our heart to help extend the blood flow all the way through our body. And I can feel that pulsing in my hands. My right hand just had another release. My voice will likely drop quite a bit. I'll try and speak up. I know I don't have the best mic. Becoming aware of little squirms in my musculature. My hands don't want to put down that guitar or keyboard or cell phone. Whatever it is that keeps your hands busy. You might find that your hands are still low grade trying to do those things. I feel them as little squirms. I don't try to stop the squirms. I just observe. And as I just observe, they quiet down. That is the most essential lesson of deep relaxation meditation. Observation will quiet your mind. I can feel tension patterns holding on in my hands, little contractions that don't want to quite let go. I'm not going to control it. Just let it be. I can actually feel my fingernail beds really loud for a moment here. I can feel where my nail comes together with my fingernail beds. I feel the calluses from my guitar on the tips of my fingers. I feel the calluses from just doing weightlifting in my hand. And another deep release. I just felt my thumbs sink towards the earth. And as I did so, I became aware of the sensation of compression underneath my hands. That sensation of compression with wherever you're resting is a super important long-term thing that we're going to look at for deep meditation. So you can feel it in your hands right now, how just resting into that compression creates releases, travel up my arm and into my torso. Excuse me, I can hear my voice drifting quieter as my mind relaxes. And trying to come up and out for you guys a little bit, brought me up and out a little. That's okay. If something draws you out of your meditation, just return quietly. If you want, you can you can zoom in and progressively move through each finger. You'll find all the same stuff going on. And it's worth doing, but it's more like a 20-minute meditation. I'm just trying to do about a 10-minute here. So I'm just making you aware of the thought. Use each of these videos a handful of times until you're aware of the thoughts. Excuse me. And then totally let go of the thoughts and just stay with the meditation. I can feel how my whole body is releasing and relaxing more and more. My mind is a little active, but I am down in my hands, and it feels good. As the relaxation sensations emerge from my hand, I can actually feel my torso letting go, my shoulder girdle, all my arms, all the nerves on the way to my hands need to relax in order for my hands to relax. And that's what's happening. Sinking deeper and deeper, letting my mind just stay softly at peace with my hands and what they're telling me. They're telling me they've been a little overactive the past couple weeks. And listening to them teaches me where I should stand in relation to how much exercise I should do for them this week, how often I should pick up my phone, to just, especially for doom scrolling, let it go. So I'm listening to those hands. I'm feeling the tingles. I feel pulsations. All of my fingertips, my hands have gotten quite a bit warmer. That's that blood flow issue. I can feel little squirms still, but they're less than they were. Ooh, just had a big release though. So my thumbs sank towards the earth. And just stay there with your hands. I'm going to quiet down a minute. Let those releases happen. Let them pass through your structure. And yet stay in your hands. And hopefully my voice hasn't sunk too low. Interesting that my pitch always becomes a lower pitch. My throat's a little rough today for some reason, so bear with me. I hope my coughs don't sound loud in there. My throat clearing, rather. Just stay with those hands. Really feel them from the inside. I can feel my bones now. The subtle movement of my bones against my flesh. Every time I breathe, I can feel my hands gently, sort of the soft tissues almost being massaged against the bones. It feels low-grade good. I can feel my face clenching. That's probably from me trying to meditate and not meditate simultaneously. Instructing is a certain kind of mind. But it's important to catch those tensions we come up on in our bodies. Okay, so that's about a 10-minute meditation. A little bit talky from my side, but again, the idea is to listen to these a few times, kind of get a sense for the meditation, how it works, and the kinds of things you're going to process and experience as you're having them, and gradually just move away from the videos and focus on the actual meditations. And the hands, that's a very beginner one, and it's also a very good one for when you're high stressed. So anyway, I'm going to get up some more of these. I'll probably try and find ways of making a few of them a little bit extra meditatey, a little bit less talky. But again, these are instructional videos about how to become deeply relaxed, which is kind of a paradox to teach. If you try to relax, you'll find you become tense. So never try to relax. Just stay in the meditation. Learn what I say and then ignore what I say. And just come back to that. All right. Thank you.